Hey, Stampers, Diane Dimich here with ddStamps.com. Hey, how are ya? Great, Sylvia, I'm glad you made it. So I just came running through the back door, but I'm ready. So I prepared last night because I was a little concerned about today. I had an appointment that I had to make, and I knew it was going to be a tight squeeze. So if you're here, say hello. Give me a thumbs up. You want to share it, that'd be great. Tonight I'm going to actually demonstrate my tutorial for this month. I'm kind of excited. I love this Fun for Fall stamp set bundle and die set, and I've got some great tips for using. Hey Karen, glad you made it. I got some great tips for using the stamp positioner tool and a different way to do the die cuts. So hopefully, a little time saving. I will tell you that we are very smoky here in Red Lodge tonight. And so I feel like I'm getting stuffed up and it's just the smoke. So if you hear me back here blowing my nose or whatever, it's only the smoke that's getting to me. All right, so I am going to quickly go through a couple of things. So the tutorial this month, like I said, is Fun for Fall. And how this works is if you place an order with me, I send you the tutorial for free. So you'll get the PDFs. And tonight I will actually post this video on the same website as the PDF, so you have both for your measurements and if you need to go back over and check for technique. And I will tell you also, it'll also be up on YouTube. And I think it's actually filming. I think we're on Facebook too tonight. I could be wrong, but I think we are. So anyway, that is the tutorial. The Create With Me Club this month is the Lily of the Valley. And I'm going to just quickly show you those cards. So let me flip my camera a little bit. There we go. All right, so these are the cards in the Create With Me Club this month. Like I said, it's Lily of the Valley. We're using the paper and the stamp set and the bundle, and we do our envelopes. And the Create With Me kit, actually, you get to make 8 cards, 2 of 4 cards. So you get 2 of each card. And I show different techniques and things to do with the stamp set. But those are the cards for the Create With Me Club. If you're interested. And then product of the week. It is this paper right here. I will tell you there's actually a box sitting in my kitchen. I just picked it up off the doorstep. It's probably got this paper in it, I think. Maybe not. I think it has a paper in it. But I've heard it's pearlized and it's beautiful. It's one-sided. So it's only got, so it's 6 sheets of one-sided paper. But I will be showing that over the probably next week, once I get to play with it. I haven't even seen it in real life yet. Paper Pumpkin, just so you're aware, ends on the 10th, which is tomorrow. No, tomorrow? No, you got a couple more days. So if you're a new subscriber to Paper Pumpkin, you can get that for 25% off right now, which is a great deal. All right, let me scoot to the Last Chance products because there's something I want to show you guys. So Last Chance products was updated on Tuesday. Last Chance products are things that we've had in stock or online or in the catalog. And when they hit the Last Chance list, some of them are discounted. I'm going to show you a little tip tonight on how to find the things that are discounted. And anyway, so that was updated. So let me change to my computer screen and screen share. Yay, I did it. All right, so this is the front of those are 2 new kits, and that Witch's Hat is adorable. All right, so these are the Last Chance products. So I'm just on the website. I got to scoot things around a little bit because I can't get to this shop. So we'll go to the shop. Sorry, I got to move. Whenever I screen share, it's like every window opens up. All right, so when you go on the shop button, you can come down here to category, or you can come down to deals. I don't know. Sorry. Bundle savings, color. Okay, so I'm just going to go to deals and we'll go to the Last Chance products. So this is going to populate everything that's on the Last Chance list, which is great. It's easy to see exactly what's on there and what is on sale. But if you come over here to the sort by and sort by A to Z, you will actually get all of the stuff for the last chance list, but they'll be kind of together so that if there's sometimes Stampin' Up puts the stamps and the bundle cheaper than actually them together. So or stamps and the dies separate are a better deal than if they're bundled together. So I just want you to check that. The other thing I want you to realize is this is the virtual card making retreat. It's 50% off. It's a great deal. You make all those cards. I learned so much. It was so much fun. So that's a great option. I'm trying to look for like one of the bundles that I just talked about where it's, here we go. No, that's not it. Sorry. Here, let me make it really big so I can't see anything. There we go. All right, so we'll just keep scooching down. Okay, so Forever Florals is one of those bundles that you need to have with the card kit. But if you look here, you'll see that the Forever Floral dies are knocked down by a lot, and the Forever Floral stamp set is knocked down by a lot. And both of those two prices together is cheaper than the $49.50 for the bundle. So I just want you to kind of be aware that that happens. Here's another one. Here's the Fragrant Layers bundle. And if you actually buy the dies and the, oh no, that's the same. This is this one here, Friendly Foliage. I don't know if the other stamp set is available. Anyway, you just want to check it and make sure. There's some good deals in there. And like I said, sometimes if you just purchase the stamps and the dies separately, you'll get them at a better price. So who doesn't like a better price? The other thing I noticed that was in here was if you're into scrapbooking, or even if you're not into scrapbooking, if you're interested, there's a scrapbooking kit in here for sale that is, I think it's 50% off. It's the 2025 year-round scrapbooking kit. Yeah, you're welcome, Sylvie. So anyway, that's just a little tidbit, just giving you a little bit of information. All right, so let me figure out how to get back. Oh, I know. Sorry. Back to me. Okay, now I'm going to flip my camera. We're going to go ahead and get started because I got a lot to share tonight, and I think you're going to be kind of happy with what I'm doing. All right, so like I said, we're using Fun for Fall. I love this little scarecrow. I think he's absolutely adorable. I had a lot of fun with this set, and we're using the dies with it. And I want to show you a little tip with the dies here in a minute. The tutorial has the Gingham Designer Series paper. These actually come 12 by 12. I just have some 4 by 12 or almost 12 sheets just to show you the different, there are the in colors. So it's Golden Glow, Crisp Cantaloupe, Barely Blush, Hydrangea Hue, and Peaceful Pine. This is the cardstock or the paper that you'll get in your kits. And it also has another side to it. So lots of gingham. It's really pretty. All right, so there's that. The things that I'm using tonight are Hydrangea Hue, Golden Glow, all of the in colors for the blends. So Crisp Cantaloupe, Barely Banana, Hydrangea Hue, Peaceful Pine, Golden Glow. And then I also added in Smoky Slate to color in the crows. And I actually put in a lifter because it's just a good idea to have one to kind of fix your mistakes. All right, so to begin with, let me show you a couple tips that I've done in my stamping. So one of the things that I do, especially with a stamp set like this, all of those dies, all of these dies here actually cut out images in the stamp set. This is a standalone, the corn husks and the corn, and then the fence is also a standalone. It's got a little dimension to it. But when I'm using dies like this, I will actually take, and I usually do them on basic white. And the nice thing about our basic white is it's thin enough that you can actually cut 2 dies at one time. So I will lay out my basic white, and then I will take my dies and actually lay them on here. This way I will get 2 of each. So I lay them all out. Now I did all this already because I didn't want you guys having to just watch me. So these are all the dies that cut out images. And then there's this corn and the corn husks, which I actually did cut out with basic white. So I would take this and I would run it through my machine, And I would get, you know, 2 of everything. So it would end up looking like this. And then as you can see, I cut out more flowers, I cut out more straw bales. So I cut out a whole bunch of pieces, and I just have pieces that are just basic white cardstock. All right, so let me put these back because I don't know if, I don't think I die cut anything. Well, I might, you never know. Anyway, I'll put those back in there so I don't lose them. Move this back over here to where my cut and emboss machine is, and then I'll show you what I do next. Now, I could take this scarecrow, and I actually could line it up, ink it up with black, line it up, and put it over the top. Because you can actually see the white outline, it's fairly easy to stamp that right where you want it. However, if you have a stamp positioner, which is really just another tool. So this is the stamp positioner, and I actually set it up before we started tonight because I knew I was going to be late and I didn't want to be frantic. So what I did is I took one of those sheets that I cut everything out of. So I just cut out one for this because I wanted a template to put onto here. And then I taped it down with painter's tape because I want it to stay. I don't want this piece of paper to move. I want it to stay exactly where I put it. And then what I do is I take my stamps. So my stamps are already on this plate, but I actually lay like, here, I'll do it with the scarecrow. And I did this with all the stamps last night. So you take the scarecrow and you're going to lay it here. And when I'm doing this, I don't have an image under here yet. I place all of the stamps in the various places that they need to be in their die cut holes. And then I'll put this on here and I'll pick up the stamps. And then once I've done that, I will flip it over and ink this up, and I stamp it down once so that I can actually see where the stamps are getting stamped. And then my guide's ready to go. So this is ready to go, and I'm going to take all these pieces that I've stamped, I've got laying here, and I'll show you how I do it. So I'll take this die cut for the scarecrow and pop it in there, just like a puzzle. Do the same with the haystack. Let's do the flag. And you just lay them in place where you want them, you know, which dies you have. So I can cut like a whole bunch of dies at one time and just have a whole bunch of white blanks and then set this up like this. Add these all in here. I don't know how many more I need because I did a whole bunch yesterday. All right, so I have all my pieces in. This one moved a little bit. I actually have this a little crooked. I'm going to have to lay it flat if I want this to work. So I'm going to lay it here. I hope, yeah, you can still see part of it. All right, so make sure they're all in where you want them. Then I'm going to take some black ink and I'm going to ink these up. I'm going to ink up all those stamps. And then flip this over, put that in the holes, stamp positioner, push it down, and I'm going to get all of these die cuts actually stamped and ready to go. The nice thing is if I mess one up, they usually do stick. So if one of them doesn't get stamped exactly how I want it, I can actually put them back in and re-stamp it. So like yesterday I was doing the scarecrow and I missed the middle of his body. I was able to put it back, the die back in there and get that cut out. I don't know how many more I need, but I'm just going to leave this set up in case I decide I need some more. But I did cut most everything out yesterday just to save a little time. And you just clean that plate the same way you would any stamp. All right, so I'm going to bring in the first card that we're going to do, and it's the hydrangea hue one. This little scarecrow here, I just think he's so cute. And we're going to do a little work on this one. So yes, I did color these yesterday, and I will color some other things so that you can actually see me coloring. I cut out the fences using pecan pie. Here's a little crow. Here's a haystack. And then I've got these corn stalks, which are white. And let me have a few extra here. A couple of corns. So you cut out like, I don't know, 7 different corn. I only need 3 for this particular project. All right. So here we go. First I'm going to start by coloring, actually you get 8, coloring the corn. And I'm going to use the light Golden Glow and just put some color right onto that die. I'm not doing any shading because these are so tiny. And that's how I get them colored. And then I'm going to take my corn stalk and I'm going to use the Peaceful Pine. And I'm juicing the brush end and I'm just going ahead and coloring that corn stalk in. Now I could do some shading on this if I chose to. It's not really that big of an image. So I'm just gonna give it a once over without the shading. I love this technique. I love the coloring of the dies to give them the different colors you need, but you could also cut these out with the cardstock colors and then piece them together. But it's nice to learn different techniques with different kinds of product. All right, so there is our corn stalks. I'm going to put this card up here. Well, no, because I'm going to use those. I'm going to put it here. So I am using an everyday arch that I've cut out from the die set. And I'm going to add in, this stamp set is really cute. It really is. It was fun to play with. All right, so now I've got my everyday arch. I'm going to use some of my blending brushes, and I'm going to use these 2 ink pads, the Golden Glow and the Hydrangea Hue. We'll start with the Golden Glow. So I'm picking up some ink on this brush, and it's probably pretty heavy when I do this because my pad's pretty inked, so I can just brush that off just a little bit just to kind of give me an idea of what I got going on there. And then you're just going to lightly brush this onto your piece of cardstock. Just another way to change your cardstock into what you really want. And so once I've done that, then I'm going to come in with Hydrangea Hue, do some very similar things, pick it up with the brush, pick up some ink, see where I'm going there. Okay, then I'm just going to come in with this Hydrangea Hue and give my sky a nice shade of blue. It doesn't have to be perfect because I want it to kind of look like it's a cloudy sky. So there is my piece for the back. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my card together. Now, one of the things I do need to stamp on this little flag is Happy Fall, ya all. Let me find the stamp. And some black ink. And you will see then, because I can see right through there, I can see where the flag curve is, and I can just go ahead and stamp it, and it's good to go. All right, so I colored my scarecrow. I colored my, let's put these on. Let's start with these little pieces of corn. Now let's see if I have any. I'm just putting a little dot to see if I have any multi-purpose glue. All right. Come on. There we go. Then I'm going to end up with a big blob on the first one. And let me grab a different one. Here, this has some in it. All right, so I got to be careful because I don't want to have it all come out. Sometimes with the elevation up here, our glue comes out as a big blob. So I'm just going to add these corn stalks right to the back, or these ears of corn to the back of the corn stalk. And such like that. And then I'm going to add the corn stalk to the everyday arch. So I'm putting glue on the corn stalk, and then I'm going to, or the corn, and then I'm going to add a little bit of glue. You don't need a ton because this glue is really strong. So I'm just going to add a little bit to the actual stalks and then flip this over and attach it to my card. I'm going to do the same thing with the fence. Just going to put a little dab will do ya. And then I'm going to add this to my card. like so. I'm going to add, so these are all just adhered directly to the card because I want to give my card a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to add this haystack right here. And then as far as the scarecrow goes, I'm going to add him with some dimensionals. So I'm not hot foiling tonight, which if you've been watching me the last few weeks, I've kind of gone crazy with the hot foiling. I love it. But tonight I just did this tutorial. This is what I had planned. And so, all right, so I'm going to add my little scarecrow guy onto my card. I'm going to color in my flag. I'll use crisp cantaloupe. And you'll see on my actual scarecrow, I actually just use all of the in colors. All right, and so then this flag, oh, I should do the pole. Let's do the pole in golden. Oops, I'm going to use the bullet point. There we go. So I'm going to add my flag onto my cardstock arch. I'm just putting the adhesive on this side of the flag because it's going to go right in his hand and right above his head. Come off there a little bit, but I wanted to show you something that I do to the paper before I actually put this on. So I'm going to go ahead and add another bale of straw or hay, and it's really fun. And I really do love that technique for cutting dies. It makes it so easy. I can just cut, I can sit in front of the TV and just cut away. All right, so there's the hay. Here's the crow. Add that on there. Now, this part of the card is done. Now, I wanted to show you something on this piece of paper, this gingham. I'm going to show you how to change it into a plaid. Super easy. All right, so you take your paper, scoot those things out of the way. I'm going to take this same color hydrangea hue, and I'm going to take actually a quilter's ruler, which I've had forever, and I don't quilt, so you know I'm using it for stamping. And I'm just going to go ahead and line that up, and then I'm going to take the bullet tip of this marker and just go right down my paper. And I usually start off the end and take it right down the middle. And the reason I start off the end and go off the end is so that I don't get, you'll see I got a couple of blobs here on this one. I'll show you up close. It's not noticeable to most people, but to me it is. And I did that the first few times I did it, and I thought, oh, I would rather go all the way off the paper and make the gingham. So I am using the bullet tip. I'm using the light hydrangea hue. You could use either one. I'm not sure. I think I used the dark on that one. Either one works. You could actually use black if you really wanted it to be a bold plaid, but I just wanted it to be a real subtle plaid. And I do like to do some stamping and coloring on my designer series paper just to kind of jazz it up or change up things. All right. Oh, you got to make sure that it's being held down by the ruler, or you end up with your paper scooting across the desk. All right, and then you're just going to flip it and actually just do the same thing. I'm going to do this whole piece because I really do want this card put together tonight completely. Sorry. You just have to watch me make plaid. But yeah, try all different colors. I mean, I could have added any color to this and made this a, you know, I think it would have been pretty with some of the golden glow as the smaller stripes. You can really change up your designer series papers. And who doesn't like plaid? Everybody likes plaid. It's kind of hard to do fall cards when we're sitting in the middle of, well, it's August, I guess. And the temperatures have been so hot that, I don't know, it was kind of fun. Oops. Okay, so I messed that one up, but we're not going to worry about it because it is what it is. So if you wanted to, you actually could tape down your paper. That would be up to you. Oh, I'm glad you like that idea. All right, so now I have this piece of paper, and I have this piece of cardstock, which is just a card base in hydrangea hue, and we are going to put this together. So this piece is going to go on here, and you'll know I actually put the piece that curved down up here in the corner in the hopes that nobody will notice it when I add this on there. Oh, that's going to cover it up pretty good. So, and then I'm going to put this on, and you can put it on. I actually put it on with dimensionals, but you wouldn't have to. You can. Some people don't like to have the cards get too bulky. And there you have it. There's card number 1. Now, I did have somebody along the way ask me to please stamp the inside of my cards, or at least show them. So this is stamped. So I stamped the straw bale, I stamped the crow, and I stamped the flag, and then I colored it in. And then I stamped a little hay there, which I think is kind of cute. I used every stamp in this bundle and every die. That's usually my goal, is to try to use them all in various kinds of ways. So there's that one that shows you how to change your designer series paper to plaid. It's really fun. And like I said, lots of different colors would work. All right, put that aside for a minute. Now I'm coming in with the card number 2, which is this one here. Thanks, Karen. All right, so card number 2 is obviously on a golden glow, and I did punch out a circle, a 2-inch circle. No, a 2 3/8-inch circle is the punch that I used to punch that out. I've cut some pieces here already. So I cut the crows, the flowers, the straw bale, and I was actually going to color. The scarecrow. So we'll start with that part. Now, I did want to ask tonight. So I did this one as Mr. Green Jeans. I don't know if you can see the green jeans, but who remembers Mr. Green Jeans? That makes me sound old. Probably shouldn't use the brush end. But, so I'm just going to color this, and I'm actually using Peaceful Pine. I'm going to use the bullet tip because I have a little bit better control. But I did want to show, this is kind of one of those pieces that you definitely can show the color lifter on because you're bound to go out of the lines. So I'm just going around with the light green and coloring it in. I'm not being too careful, I'm just putting some color down. Get him all colored in. And then I can come in with my dark green. Yay, Sylvie remembers Mr. Green Jeans. And I'm just adding a little bit of shading to him. Not much, doesn't need much. And then what I like to do is come back in with let me use the brush end, just to blend it back in so that there's no harsh lines. And as that dries, it'll kind of blend in together. So there's that. And then I'm going to take the crisp cantaloupe, and we're going to color in his shirt. And I really did not do any blending on a shirt. I just did one color. If you wanted it to be darker, you can actually color over it after it dries and make it darker, or you can just add the dark cranberry crisp to it. We'll take the golden glow. We'll do the patches on his pants and his hat. Color this all in. And then I actually used the darker for the straw, just to give it a little bit of contrast from the hat. And just did some real quick coloring anywhere where there was straw hanging out. And the pole. Come back with some hydrangea hue. You can use either color. We'll do the band on his hat, and the patch, and his scarf. Get that done. Just a little bit of peaceful pine down here at the bottom where the grass might be. And then the last color I used is the Barely Blush, and this works great. Oh, that's dark. I want to use light. This works great for his face. And so I just colored in his face. And then I brought in the darker blush and just put some rosiness into his cheeks. And he is colored. So it's actually very quick. You get that done. Okay, so I think I have all my pieces. So to begin with, we're going to start with this piece on this side of the... Sorry, I'm looking for a die. I must have maybe put it away, but I'll find it. So anyway, we're going to use this side of this paper. And I'm using the Everyday Arches, which I've set down somewhere. I thought I had everything ready. Maybe I put it away. Hang in there with me. Don't leave. Come on, Everyday Arches. Ah! I know that as soon as I give up looking, I'm going to find them. Anyway, let me tell you what I did. So I took the Everyday Arch and I set it into the middle of this piece of cardstock and I cut it out. And then I used the piece that I cut out on the outside of my card and put it all together. And then on the inside, I actually layered the piece of Designer Series paper with the hole in it onto a piece of basic white. And I stamped it and colored it so that you got to use both pieces of paper. So there's another way to use your Designer Series paper. Now, I'm not going to put this card together because I'm going to keep looking for, I'll tuck all this stuff in here. I think you guys get the idea. And then I took this circle die and I just used the ink that was already on the brush, and you could add more if you wanted to, and just made it into a sun so that it kind of just set off that piece of cardstock. I am going to tuck these in here and keep looking because I can't imagine where I put it. I just had it out yesterday cutting all these arches I needed, so it's got to be here somewhere. I don't know why I didn't. Oh, I think I found it. Everyday Arches, I found it, yay! All right, so we could pull it up. Well, I'll show you now. I hope I haven't lost everybody because I'm kind of being an airhead. All right, so Everyday Arches. Oh, next one. I used this one. So what I did was took my paper, I laid my arch down where I wanted it, and I kind of wanted to make sure that it was smack dab in the middle. And if you want to make sure it doesn't move on you, go ahead and use some Post-it note tape. It's one of my favorite tools. And we're going to tape this down, and I'm going to run this through the Stampin' Up machine. I'll be right back. All right, so these pieces of tape I keep forever on top of my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine because I can use them over and over and over till they totally lose their stickiness. That's where I store those. Move that arch out of the way. So now you've got the two pieces. Now I bet you get it. Okay, so you're going to take this piece. We're going to flip it over. We're going to add some adhesive to it. And I really just did the corners. I didn't get too carried away because it's really not going to go anywhere. And then I have a piece cut the same size. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. So is this piece of basic white. And it will line up perfectly. And if it doesn't, I can always trim an edge. So there is the middle of my card. So I'm going to add that on to a piece of Golden Glow. There's the inside of my card. I just need to stamp and color it, which I'm probably not going to do right now. All right, so then I'm going to take this piece. I'm going to add this to the front of my card. Oh, wait, before I do that, I'm going to take the Golden Glow and the little leaf stamp. This is so cute. This little tiny leaf is so cute. So I'm just going right around the edge because that's the part that's actually going to show. And this just gives my card a little bit of texture. Changes up your card base. You can see I'm kind of churning the stamp a little bit so that my leaves are not all exactly the same. I want them to look like they're falling. And then we'll go across the bottom. Like I said, twist your stamp a little bit. Whoop. Ink the right side. Go off the edge if you want to. All right, so there's the background. Now I'm going to take that piece of Designer Series paper and add that to the middle of my cardstock or my card base. I eyeball things. I don't really measure. I just eyeball and hope for the best. As you know, if you've watched me before. All right. Now, here's all my pieces. So I went ahead and did my little moon or sun or whatever you want it to be. I'm going to lay that onto the top there. I'm going to take a sentiment stamp, and we're going to stamp that onto my moon. And then we're going to go ahead and build our card. So to begin with, once we've got that moon on there, we're going to go ahead and add the fence. And again, I'm using the, what I call green glue. And I just did it. You can see I did at the corners of the fence post. And this is going to get laid onto my card like that. And then I'm going to take my little green jean scarecrow, add some dimensionals. I'm using the mini dimensionals, but you could use either size would work. And I'm going to go ahead and take all those little tapes off. And add him. And how I'm going to add him is I just want him to cover up the edge of this fence. Like that. And still make sure the sentiment shows. I'm really glad it does. All right, and then the next parts are the flowers and the straw basket, so the bale of hay. So I'm going to go ahead and put the bale of hay on there, kind of where I want it. And then the flowers, I'm just going to put a dimensional on the end, or on the actual flower part, just one. And these are going to get added. So you notice that I did color these. So I colored a bunch of stuff yesterday, so you didn't have to sit and watch me color the whole time. I'll put that there. I don't want anything to be too symmetric. I want it to just be kind of like it would really look like. All right, so there's that. And then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to take, and we're going to add our little crow. And I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on this flower, just enough to hold on to my crow, who's going to be sitting right on top of that hay bale. There's card number 2. Now let me show you. So on this one, I actually stamped my background and then put my paper on, so it kind of covered up his hand. But on this one, I'm actually going to stamp him here and then put the sentiment in there. I like that sentiment, hoping your day is wonderful, and color Mr. Green Jeans. So there's card number 2. How's everybody hanging in there? Mr. Moose and Bunny Rabbit and the Captain. Oh yeah, all of them. I remember them all. Yeah, you're right, Sylvie. There is no waste with that kind of using that designer series paper like that. All right, next project. Let's see what I got going on here. So this is the card that we're making. This was just going to be a totally different card, not totally looking like everything else. So I'll put that there. I have cut my pieces, and here's several of my flowers. Uh-oh, I think I lost a flower. Oh well. All right, so this is our card base. So we took the crisp cantaloupe. I see I got some, oh, I bet I'm picking stuff up off this mat that so I do have a smudge in here, but it isn't gonna matter because I'm gonna cover that up. So there's my card base. Here is my piece of designer series paper. I'm coming back in with that leaf stamp, and I'm just gonna do like leaves in the corners, just a little bit. Doesn't have to be too much because most of it's gonna get covered up. And then I'm gonna take my everyday arch. First, this one. And this one's gonna get layered right onto the card base in the middle. So you can see why you only need to do a couple of leaves, because it really does get covered up. Then this whole piece, this technique I was showing was use your arches, your everyday arches. I always have them the other way, and they look great this way too. So there's that. And then I'm going to take the next, I think it's 2 down from this arch. So 2 down. This one's going to get added on with dimensionals. Oh, I grabbed a whole row. Just move these around on here. Add that into the middle of that arch. And like I said, I eyeball it. And then you're going to take some of the flowers. I'll just add a little dab on there. I think I'm going to have to cut one more flower. Okay, so I'm going to do 3. 3 that are glued on with no layer. So 1, 2. Now you can see why I like to cut all my dies. 3. And then green glue is fun because it's nice because you can move stuff around. And then I'm just going to add a dimensional to this one. Yeah, they do look like a pocket. You're right. So then these down in front are going to be with a dimensional. I'm going to stamp one more flower because I do want to finish this card. So again, you can come in with your stamp positioner and just do 1 if that's all you really need. And that's all I'm going to do right now because that's all I really need. Oh, I think I might have found it. I did. It was stuck to the thing. So anyway, make sure I got it on right. Press down. I got another flower. We have an extra flower. All right, let me move that. So the flowers, I just really was simple. I'm just going to use the bullet tip of the blends. Oh, I missed a petal. The peaceful pine going down the stem, and you probably can't see it, but on the card you can see where I did that. And then a little bit of golden glow in the middle. And then this one's going to get added on with a dimensional like that. And then I took this piece here, and this is where I'm stamping my sentiment. And I'm using the one that says, hoping your day is Wonderful. And I'll just ink that up in the black, stamp it down on my piece of cardstock. And this is going to get added on with some dimensionals. All right, and attach this to my card. And there you have it. Now on the inside, you're going to take the piece of, I'll show you first what I did. So I took a piece of the basic white, and I'm going to add that to my card base, covering up that smudge. And then I take the flower and stamp it 3 times and color it in. And then I just added the extra strip of the designer series paper that you'll have in your kits, just to add that over the stamp so that it kind of brings it all together. So there's card number 3. Okay, we're back down to the last one. Woo! All right, coming in this time we're using Peaceful Pine. So you can see I used a lot of the different ink colors. All right, so on this one, oh, I got a couple tips to show you here. All right, so I'll start by coloring. Color in this hay bale. And really I just added in one color, and then I went in with the dark and did like the straps around it a little bit darker. And if you want to, you can actually go in and some of the little hay bale pieces they got sticking out, if you want to add a little texture, you can do that. All right, so there's the 3 hay bales that I need. Here's 2 of the flowers that I need. I need another flower. So we'll stamp this flower, or we'll color this flower. So I kind of just wanted to show a little bit of the coloring in each card without having you sit here for, you know, another hour. I missed another petal. I did it again. Same thing. So you're not sitting here watching me color. I do like to color, but I don't like to necessarily watch other people color if I'm not coloring. All right, so there's that. This one took 2 fences. So there's a couple little techniques here I want to show. Here is one of the birds. And we'll do these 2 birds. So again, I come in with the smoky slate, the bullet tip, because I have better control, and I'm just going to color him in. You can, if you want to, do the shading on his wings. However, it's cartoony enough that you don't have to. Do both. These little crows. And then we'll do a little golden glow beak. All right, so there's that. That one is an extra. Probably goes on the inside. All right, so again, we're going to start with this piece. Let me grab a little piece of scratch paper. Add that on there. Coming in with my golden glow. And the right, oh, don't put your pad upside down. All right, so I'm picking up some of the golden glow, and this time I'm just going to go all the way around this whole arch, just to add some color to it. And again, it doesn't have to be blended perfectly. I do like to keep the middle kind of like it's, I don't know. I like to keep it white so that it kind of glows out. All right, so this can go away. This can go away. So we're going to start with this. Now to do this fence, what I did is I took one of the pieces of fence and went ahead and did the green glue. Like that. And I'm going to add this onto my everyday arch. And then I want to put this fence on there too, but as you can see, it is too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it this way, and I'm actually going to line it up. So I'm going to cut off my die. So think about that when you're looking at your dies. You can cut them off and make them any size that you might need. And then add the glue. And go ahead and add this right onto my fence. Like that. That's how you get your fence. All right, so then we're going to take this Peaceful Pine card base. We're going to add on the Peaceful Pine gingham. We're going to add on the Everyday Arch. Now, before I put this card together, I'm going to show you how I stamp the sentiment. Because if I mess it up, then I can save all these pieces I've already cut and colored and put them on a different card base. All right, so you're going to take your black ink pad, and I'm using this stamp that says this is something to crow about. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to ink up. I'll do it up here close. I'm looking through the stamp, and I'm just inking up this is something. I did see I got a little bit on the T, so you just want to make sure that you're only inking up that part. And then I'm going to stamp that down. And then I'm going to clean this off. And that's the most important part, because if you don't clean it off, you're going to end up with a shadow of part of the words. Then I'm going to do it with the To Crow About. Again, I'm just going to line it up. And because they're photopolymer, I can actually see. I did good that time. And then line it up right below it and stamp it down. And that's how you take a long stamp and make it shorter. So you could do that with any of your stamps that you have. All right, so now that that's done, I'm going to put all these straw bales on and the crows and the flowers. All right. So we'll, oops, put one here. We'll put one here. And put this one on top. Let's put the flowers on next. So the flowers, again, are going to go on. We're going to flip these over. And I'm going to put a mini dimensional in each flower. And then these are going to get tucked behind the... I could have done this beforehand. Now I'm going to have to try to work it a little bit to get them in there, because I did put a dimensional in there. There we go. Perfect. I'm going to go on top of here, so I put it on a dimensional. And then this other one is actually going to get put on there like that. And there is card number 4. And if you open this up on the inside, you can see where I stamped it, did the congratulations, and again added that piece of gingham, which you will have left over in your paper when you get the card kit that I'm going to send out. So the card kit goes out with a $50 order. Let me pop on here. I don't know if anybody if it ever worked on Facebook. I haven't heard. Anyway, that's it. That's my tutorial for this month. It's a good one. I do like it. I love that little fall for fun scarecrow. And if you don't want that scarecrow or don't have it, get the card kit. You can still do plenty with it, with all those great in colors. So if you have any questions, now would be the time to ask, because I am going to be done for the night. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. And if you ever have any questions or you need any help with anything, feel free to call me, text me, email me. I'd love to answer your questions. And if you haven't done so, you might want to sign up for my newsletter. So I give out good tips and tricks and techniques all week long, and then do these videos. So I will be back on next Thursday, I believe. I do too, Karen. I love the new in colors. They are beautiful this year. All right, take care, everybody. Have a good night. You're welcome, Linda. I hope you use them. Bye-bye.